Face of the franchise can be very overwhelming for a lot of people. You know, there's a lot of cards, new positions, you don't know where to go. So here are all the face of the franchise cards ranked from 1 to 30. The worst card and you should not go for, hopefully you don't get him in your random pack, is Benintendi. He's the definition of being average. There's nothing he's good at. Some might argue that Cronenworth's worse than Benny, but in my opinion, the fact that he played multiple positions and he has goal defense when you parallel him up, I think that gives him more value. But even then, he still sucks. He has no power. He has no offense, pretty much. Decent speed too. That gets him the nod over Bennett. You might look at Sean Murphy. It's like, wow, he has really good power. He has really good defense. Average speed for a catcher, rather. It's like his swing is so bad that you don't want to even use him. If you ever use his card from the Moments, we had a hit home run, you guys will see why. Joey Votto still bangs, but on this card, he can't bang against a lefty. He's only a bench bat. There's a lot of people that actually like Edmonds' swing. He has good power against lefties, you know. You can use him as platoon. He's also very versatile, but I can't get over the fact he has 50 power. That alone is gonna kill this card's value. Kelly falls into the same umbrella as Sean Murphy, where he has an average swing, you know, really slow. He has no hitting against righties, actually. He can mash against lefties, so that alone, you can use it as a backup catcher to platoon against left-handed pitchers if you really want to. Even though you might say that Kelly has better hitting stats, I do think that Real Muto has a better swing, and he has more speed. The fact that he can get 90 speed as a catcher reminds me of Craig Biggio from MLB 20 in that regard. And if you're into paralleling cards, you can get him 90 defense at parallel 5 if you so choose to. The first pitcher on the list is Alex Manoah, and when this card was announced, I was like, oh, this is gonna be ass. But then they came out with his stats, like, wow, that's pretty good. Then you use him in game, and guess what? His motion is very hittable. On top of the fact he only has 4 pitches, that hurts his value a ton. If you guys see my TikTok, and which you should follow, by the way, you find the link in the description. Clase is very hittable because he only has 2 pitches pretty much. He has a cutter and a 4-seamer, which is the same velocity, and his cutter and slider, they break the same direction. So you're just looking at the right side of the plate. It's not that hard. Even if they try to freeze you with the outside fastball, you can just like cheat and just slam your PCI the other way anyways. Very hittable card. He's never been a good card. Just use his finest card from last year. You'll know why. Crone isn't actually a bad card. He's just in a meta where you don't want right-handed hitters at first base. On top of the fact that he's extremely slow, so even though he has secondary outfielder, which by the way, he's never played an outfield his entire career, by the way. I don't know why they put him in for outfield secondaries. This one pains me to say, but Wander, just this fact that his power, they nerfed it so bad. They announced him like in the beginning, I was like, yes. But now like 57 power versus righties, 75 against lefties is average. He's still a switch hitter with a great swing, so you should be able to get away with it. Devers, and when he also came out, I was like, wow, he has a great swing. I had his postseason card last year, the parallel 4, but he's a great bat against righties. He has a pretty underrated arm, actually. Average speed, average defense. What knocks him down is obviously his 65 power versus lefties, but if you just face righties, he'd be pretty good. I'm not going to lie, I was sleeping on this Haniger. He has an excellent swing, mashes against lefties, great power against righties. You know, you want more speed out of the outfield with 58, but that's like the bare minimum. It's doable in right field, but this card mashes. Another card that when it first came out, we all thought that was just gonna be crazy overpowered, where we were like, oh damn, we're gonna have a Devin Williams, let's go. And then they got rid of his sinker, and they were like, that's what killed the card. He has no sinker, and the fact that he has no speed differentials, I'll move my face cam so you guys can see it. He has 83 miles per hour on 3 pitches. So like, where's the speed differential? You know, like, that's gonna hurt him a lot. All right, don't block me, Stroman, but you're number 16 on my list, and his biggest reason is because he has no curveball or just any type of breaking pitch that really just anything slow. Everything's in the low 90s, high 80s. So even though he has good pitches and he was pretty underrated actually for his finest last year, I think this card would get crushed. Casey Mize, last year, he never got a good card. This year he did, and I was like, cool. It'll be like his Future Stars from 20, the 12-0 card, if you guys remember. Then they got rid of his cutter. Another fucking instance where they got rid of a pitch where you were like, oh, they'll be meta. He'll still be good, but you know, not as overpowered as he was in 20. Where he was basically like a Kluber. Web and Mize are honestly kind of interchangeable. You can pick either or, depending on who you pull rather. The only difference is why I give Web the nod over Mize is because his primary pitch rather is the sinker, which if you guys don't know, whatever is your first pitch in your arsenal, that's going to be your best pitch for the most part. So you see right here, he has 94 control on your sinker and 99 break on it as well, so very good. If you guys seen the AL East rankings I had on my TikTok, this was before they announced the stats, where Chapman, I had him number 5 as the worst in the division. I'll follow the TikTok, I'll just put in the link in the description. But the only reason why I have him so high now is because of all the bullpen arms we have in the game currently, he's the best one. He has 116 hits per 9 and he's a lefty. Even though he has a nerf motion, I still think he'll still be viable for most teams, if not every team by now. Sticking in the AL East, we're going to have Mullins. And surprisingly, they gave him 72 arm, which is a massive W. Last year with his 98, he had like in the mid 50s, I want to say. So he is doable. I would still stick him in the corner outfield, but he will definitely be serviceable in the corner. He has great power against righties. He's decent against lefties, but you're not really asking for him for much against lefties. He still has a great swing, which would hopefully counteract that. At this part, I think this is a fair spot for him. He may not be able to hit a baseball in spring training, but in MLB The Show rather, he is pretty nasty, I cannot lie. With over 85 power, both sides of the plate, 77 contact versus righties. You see the 56 contact versus lefties, you think, oh, he's gonna be rough, but you're gonna be playing on lower difficulties early in the game, so that contact's not gonna make a huge difference. On top of the fact he can't play first base. And I also have a question. Why the hell can he not play center field when he played it literally last year? It makes no sense to me. Now we're starting off with the top 10 cards, and I have to say before everyone like comes with their pitchforks, all these cards are decent where you will get use out of them unless you got like a God Squad, right? Even the worst cards in this list, like Benintendi, they'll still have value if like you're rocking all golds. So don't get it twisted. Number 10, we have Lindor. I think that he's a great switch hitter, great swing. You know, the only downside for him is his arm strength, but if you don't have 97 Utley, just put this Lindor at second. If you do have Utley, I suggest you putting him at short and just praying that he can throw runners out. That's exactly what I'm doing. Number 9, we have Acuna, where he has great power, great swing. I love it. I had both his cards last year, Parallel 5, his 99 from All-Star and his live series. But obviously the biggest downside for this card is 69 defense. Nice. In center field, where you need good defense in center, there's like no excuse. Especially with the 69 reaction. Nice. It's just gonna kill you. You're gonna get bad animations, you're gonna get cooked. Even though he has 90 speed, it's not gonna make a huge difference when there's better defensive options at center. This is why I have Bryan Reynolds at number 8 on the list, because he has good defense, good speed, and he may not have the power like Acuna. He still has great swing, and guess what? Quirks. He has amazing quirks that will help him out a little bit. And the 60 power against lefties is not too much of a problem right now because the majority of people just have right-handed pitchers in their rotations. So to prove that point, my whole rotation's right-handed. So coming in at number 7 on the list is Buxton. And you may see his hitting stats are like, they're average, which they are average. But the fact that he has 99 fielding and speed and pretty much 99 arm strength this early in the game, it makes him a demon in center field. He will get to every single fly ball, bro. Like, there's no fly ball he's not gonna get to. And if you're gonna play at parks like Coors, Laughing Mountains, where their gaps are massive, it's going to help you out a lot to have someone that's a lockdown in center field. That's why I bucks at number 7. This might surprise a lot of people, but I think Kyle Tucker is a very underrated card this year, and even his finals last year. Even though he was juiced as hell with a great swing, you just parallel this guy up just twice. Very easy. You can get him diamond defense. He has average speed, but he's well-rounded. Even if they want to bring in a lefty, he's actually better against lefties. So you're not getting hurt, by the way. Either way. Now, if you want a Byron Buxton type of card, but you want like a little bit more of a bat, this is where Luis Robert comes in. He absolutely kills against lefties. He's serviceable against righties. His speed, obviously, and his defense, obviously, isn't the Buxton tier, but once again, you parallel him a couple times. He has diamond defense and diamond reaction, so you get the both of two worlds with Robert over Buxton, which is why he's in the top 5. Now, this may surprise a lot of people, but Josh Bell being this high on the list is very well warranted. Why? Because he's a switch hitting first baseman, and you're not going to get a lot of those options early on. With almost 90 power both sides, he can get those thresholds with a few parallels, and he's just really well balanced. He has good vision, he has good discipline, so you can nail the check swing. I wish his speed was a little bit higher, but you're not going to find a lot of switch hitting first basemen this early on in the year. This might piss people off, but Trout being number 3 is well warranted because of the fact that he has pretty average defense. You know, he has good speed, but we're talking about this strictly from like having the card off rip versus how many parallels you need to get them to the point where they can be like really good. And for most people, they're not going to get this Mike Trout to parallel 4 for goal defense. It's just not going to happen. So we were talking just straight up base stats. I think that Trout's going to be really good. He has an amazing swing. They actually changed it, but it's still really good. It's not as good as his swing last year, but similar to Josh Bell, Seager is a type of card that has amazing hitting stats against both sides of the plate. You're not going to find that early on in the game, but the only real downside with him is that his arm is average, his defense is average, and he's slow as hell. So you need to play this guy at third base. That's what I'm doing for my team. So don't not play him at shortstop. He loses a lot of value there. He has an amazing swing, and that's why he's number 2. You guys might be seeing this. You're like, oh damn, why is Jazz number 1? And I have to tell you right now, he has everything you really want for an early game second baseman. He has the power, he has the contact, he has diamond defense, and he has hella great speed, great swing. You know, this is the best 5-tool player you're going to get early in the game. Unless you use a cap, obviously. I will make a video on the best cap builds at second base. If this video gets 10 likes, then I'll do it. I'll try to make it in 2 days, no promises. You're not going to find the 5-tool player like Chet Chisholm. You could argue for like Utley that he could be replaced rather. You could just slide him at third base and you have no problem. You can parallel him up. He gets a lot of thresholds, and he has a great personality, and who wouldn't want the fucking hero? Let's go. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. And don't worry about Robin Yount being a catcher. That's just a glitch for your cap. If like you keep switching positions, you just put a random card in your inventory at catcher. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you later. He is great against left-handed hitters. Hit left-handed hitters. Fuck. He might not be able to hit a baseball in spring training, but this future. Fuck. He might not be able to hit a fastball. He may not be able to hit a baseball in spring training. Fuck. This might surprise a lot of people, or it might not, but I think Kyle Tucker is the 6th best outfielder. Fuck. Trout being number 3 might get my head cut off, but I think that Trout is pretty nasty. Fuck, let me redo that. I don't want to say that. This might be... Fuck. Seager very similar to Bell. They have very similar... Fuck.